Hey guys, I know I've done a video on this before, but it's been a long time and I thought today would be a good reminder to know how to know when to water your succulents. So I'm going to go through and show you what I do because I have so many succulents. As you can see, this is just one shelf in my greenhouse, and yeah, I could probably get a hose and just water everything down, but there's some things that don't need water, and if you water something that doesn't need it, you risk the chance of killing it. So I'm going to show you what I do, and it does take a little bit of time, but it's worth it to me because I get upset when a plant dies. So let me show you what I do. So I've got my watering can over here. It's a small one, but I use that because the big one's just not as easy to control. But let me just show you a few of my plants. And sorry, you know, I like to pull off the dead leaves, but let's just look at a few. And you know, I am a big fan of echeverias. So a lot of mine are, but some of them aren't. So let's just look at like this jade, for example. So what I like to do first is see, especially at the bottom, are there any wrinkled leaves? So no, I don't see any. But then I also just like to feel like, are they floppy? So yes, this one's pretty floppy. If a plant feels very floppy on the leaves, and I almost always touch underneath the leaves, not because of this one, but you know, some of them have that really pretty white coating on it. So I don't want to ruin that. So I'll touch underneath the leaves. So anyway, this one isn't nearly as floppy as the other one. It could possibly use water, but if I'm not 100% sure, I won't do it. Now this jade is floppy. So I'm gonna go ahead and water this one. And just remember, when you actually do water your succulents, give them lots of water. I usually let it soak all the way through, and then I give them another drink after that. So I'm gonna let it come out the bottom. It's almost all the way through, and then I'm gonna do it again. So succulents, when they do get water, they get a lot. It's just you don't do it frequently. So let's look at a different one. So like I said, this one is not super floppy. Some of it isn't just vision, like with you guys seeing it, it's actually feeling it. So it didn't feel nearly as floppy as that other one. So what about this one? That one could use water. Yeah, that one's very floppy. And also, sorry, I'm trying to get the dirt off. Also, it's got some babies. And so if you have one with babies, they're more likely to tolerate a little bit more water. But again, if you're not 100% sure, I would just leave it alone. It also looks like something, maybe like a caterpillar or something, took a bite out of this one. So anyway, I do get caterpillars and different things in here, so that's probably what happened. Now, this is not an echeveria. As you know, this is, or as you may know, this is commonly known as pies from heaven, but it's also called a rhombopilosa. Look how extremely floppy these leaves are. I mean, they almost feel like they're gonna fall off. Now, none of them at the bottom look wrinkly, and none of them look translucent, which that's a sign of overwatering. So this thing needs water bad. And I can tell you, just from experience, these things take tons of water. In fact, this one needs so much water, I'm almost thinking about putting like a little tray underneath it so it can hold water for a few days. But this one is always thirsty. And we are having 90-degree temperatures here, so that's one thing to consider. I don't think these things like our heat, but I mean, look, it even feels very thin. So these are supposed to feel fat, but like this one's thirsty. I can tell I haven't watered it in a while. So anyway, let's move on. So like, what about this one? I don't see any wrinkled leaves, and this one's really firm. You see how like the leaf isn't even moving and the whole plant's moving? Don't water this one, that's for sure. So as much as you think, oh, it's been 3 months, it's got to need water. No, do not water this one. So let me see. This is my Fred Ives, or one of them. The leaves move a little, but it is making the whole plant move. So that tells me no. All right, I have a feeling this one's gonna need water. Now you can look and I don't see any wrinkles. If you see wrinkles at the bottom of the leaves, yes, water it. But I can tell already. Oh, look how floppy. Oh, these are super floppy and thin. So yes, this one needs water bad. The whole plant isn't moving. Just the petals are moving when I move it around. So, or not the petals, they're actually leaves. If it was a flower, it would have petals, but those are actually the leaves. So this one needs water bad. And like I said, I water it 2 or 3 times until it comes out bottom. And yeah, if you have well draining soil, that's actually what should happen. So let's move on and say, okay, this one. So this is a Crassula Purple Light. Y'all don't laugh at my pot, but I love that pot. Anyway, this may be a little bit harder to tell. So I do see some wrinkly pieces, and I don't know if you can see them. So that tells me it's thirsty, but I could do the field test anyway. Yeah, so overall, it feels pretty floppy. So this one could use some water. And I've noticed too, the smaller and more crammed into the pot, kind of the more frequent watering it needs. But you always want to do the field test. And by the way, just as a side note, this is my monkey tail, and it had 4 big branches, as you can see now. But we had a plant swap a while back, and I cut off a bunch of pieces, and I was really sad about it, but I wanted to share. But guess what? After I cut them off, look, it's made 2 new shoots there. And if you look over here, I don't want to knock that over, but over here there's 3 more, and then over here there's 1 more. So anyway, I guess cutting it made it want to start making more, so I may cut it more often. But anyway, let's move on to a few other ones. So this is a stretched out Sedivaria Raleigh, I think, and I'll probably use this in a video to show you how to fix a stretched out succulent. I know I did a video before, but all the ones I had already had a long stem and nothing on it except the rosette at the top. And this is a good example of what happens to a lot of people's echeverias, especially when they put them in the house. So I may do a video on this one, but okay, no wrinkly bottom leaves. And honestly, they're a little floppy, but it is making the whole plant move, so I'm not gonna water that one. Now, you might look at this thing and think, oh yeah, it definitely needs water. But I felt this one earlier, and it does feel a little floppy, but the whole plant is still moving when I push the petals. So I think the reason it's doing this is it's in a spot where it's just getting a little too much sun and it doesn't like it. So don't just think, oh, it's curling up, it's got to need water. So I love to do the field test. The field test has never ever failed me. Okay, this one, I can tell by looking at the leaves, they just don't look fat. I can tell that this Atlantis, this Echeveria Atlantis, it needs water. But let's do the field test. Oh, it's extremely floppy. So the whole plant isn't moving. Yeah, even the leaves close to the new growth. Oh, and you can see a little bit of wrinkling. So yes, this plant is way overdue for some watering. So let's go ahead and give this one some. So she needs a lot. And yeah, some of my soil has kind of over time become hydrophobic. That's why the water looks like it just sits there for a minute, but it's still going in. So I'm going to give it a minute, let it come out. This is my Prolifica. I've got to cut off all these little pieces. You see how it's trying to go and take over other plants. So I can cut each one of those little thingies off right there and put that in a new pot. But anyway, water this one again. All right, good enough. So let's move on to a few more. So you can't always tell just by looking. Okay, This one, oh yeah, this poor morning dew is so sad. I've neglected a lot of my plants, and it's because, well, number one, I haven't been out here. That's just mineral deposits from tap water. That's not mealybugs. But anyway, this one, you can probably guess by the wrinkles and how thin and floppy the leaves are. This one's gotta get some water right now. Poor thing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, let's let that sink in. I usually use a combination of potting soil, perlite, and sometimes chicken grit, although I've got this other stuff in this one. I can't remember the name of it, but I got it from this landscape supply shop, and it's not pumice. I can't remember what it is, but it's really good stuff. But anyway, I ran out. So let's see. Okay, here is a 3-headed Succulent. If you look, can you tell how wrinkly those bottom leaves are? So clearly, oh, there's a dead leaf right there. Nope. Anyway, yes. This one definitely needs some water. Sorry, I'm trying to do all of this with 2 hands and turn around and grab stuff without looking at it. But yes, this 3-headed Succulent needs water bad. So let's water that, let it go down, then we'll do it again. We'll find a few more. I already know this one behind it. This is another one of those rhombopilosas. It's gonna need, I don't know why, but just they seem to need water more than others. So let me give this one more drink. And I have a lot of decorative stuff, so I'll probably have to fix this little shell in there. I'll clean it off. Well, may as well just do it now. But anyway, let's go ahead and feel this one. Got a spider web, but I guarantee you this one, oh, super floppy. Oh, poor thing. And plus the leaves are supposed to be pretty flat. Look how paper thin they look. So anyway, this one needs water too. And this is literally what I do. I go through and do the whole greenhouse like this. So I hate to have to take the time to do it, but if you just go and water everything, you better hope everything is thirsty, because some of these plants are real sensitive, and if you water a plant when it doesn't need it, then you're going to possibly risk overwatering, and I don't like to do that. So all right, so let's do one more example. So here is an Echeveria ballerina, and clearly you can see the wrinkles around it. So that is a clear sign it's thirsty. I don't even need to do the field test, but you can tell by the field test it is very floppy. It's time. So this doesn't just apply to Echeverias. This applies to most any succulent. You can tell when it's thirsty by the field test. So do the field test if you're not sure, and if you're not 100% sure by feeling it, just don't do it. So this one, it's not super floppy, and look, the whole plant's moving. I would not water this one. Or like this one, nope, whole plant's moving, not super floppy, not gonna water this one. This one, you can see the wrinkles at the bottom. This one's fine being watered. So you get what I'm saying? I'll have to refill my watering can because that was it. And I use a really teeny one in here, but I just wanted to go over that really quick and just kind of tell you how I tell when these guys are thirsty. So that's what I do. I go through one at a time and I feel them and I see, oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera, but I feel them. That's moving the whole plant. That's not super thirsty. This one, oh, what is happening with this one? It's like it's turning variegated or something, but I can tell by the bottom leaves on this one how they're like looking all thin. If you could look at the bottom, you'd see that they're probably wrinkly. Let's see. Oh yeah, you see how they're wrinkly. So that one needs water. I'll do that when I get off the camera. And anyway, I didn't want to make this a really long video. I just wanted to show you how I water. I do have other videos on how to chop and propagate and make your own soil mixtures and stuff. But if there's anything you guys particularly want me to make a video on here, here now in the next few weeks. Let me know. Trying to come up with new ideas. But anyway, thank you as always for watching. And if you will, hit like and subscribe for more videos and comment. I try to reply to every comment I get. So thank you again. Like I said, y'all have a good day and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.